Good afternoon, aviators. Today we have another video in the series of where we'll be flying out of Montgomery Gibbs Airfield. Today we'll be flying to Browns Airfield, which is a very neat airport that's located right on the border of Mexico, and it also frequently has military jets that fly in and out, so it's a very cool airport to visit if you get the chance. As you can probably tell, this video is a little bit longer than some of the previous ones. That's because I have some footage of flying this flight in real life spliced into the video that you'll see throughout the video. So since this video is a little bit longer, I'll go ahead and jump right into some of the pre-flight details we want to discuss, and I'll try to make it a little more abbreviated than the previous. So first, as we can see here, this is the overall flight path that we'll be taking. We're going to depart from Montgomery Gibbs. We're going to fly out to the east. We have some visual landmarks along the way that we're going to look for to make sure we stay on course. We're going to fly over the airspace of Gillespie, and then we're going to eventually turn south and obtain clearance into Brownsville. So let's look a little bit closer, specifically at the VFR map. So for our departure, we'll be leaving Montgomery Gibbs. More or less, we'll be routed to go down 28 right. We'll depart 28 right to the west. Then we'll turn crosswind to the north and then downwind for a right pattern of 2A right, and then we'll intersect our course as we depart the airfield. Remember, the Delta airspace here extends up to 2,900 feet, so as we climb, we'll more than likely exit the airspace vertically before we exit the airspace laterally. Though either way, we're going to go ahead and pick up flight following, so we'll just follow their instructions if we need to stick to certain altitude restrictions. The other thing we need to consider as we're departing, as we have in the other videos, is we want to watch out for the Bravo ceiling that will be above us. As we can see, the Bravo ceiling for this area does not start until 4,800 feet. So as long as we stay under 4,800 feet, we'll be okay and clear the Bravo. As we depart, the first visual landmark we're going to look for is going to be Lake Murray. So we'll be able to see this right off our nose. We see Lake Murray, we'll know that we're crossing into the Gillespie Airfield airspace. We're going to want to climb up to around 3,200 feet to stay above the Gillespie Airfield airspace. As we can see from the VFR chart, their airspace extends from the surface up to 2,400 feet, while the Bravo above us is still going to be at 4,800 feet. So as long as if we stay around 3,200 feet, we'll be above the Gillespie airspace and below the Bravo airspace. So that'll be ideal for us to travel at. As we traverse over the Gillespie airspace, the next visual landmark we'll look for is Mount Helix. Moving on, the next visual landmark we'll look for is Cottonwood Golf Course. As it's a golf course, it will have very nice green grass, so it's very easy to spot. It's important for us to spot the Cottonwood Golf Course because we are going to want to make sure that we extend slightly past it before we start our southern turn. When we turn to a southern heading, we're going to be going around the side of the San Miguel Mountain. We're going to be entering to this area where there is a Bravo shelf that starts at 3,500 feet. So we're going to want to go ahead and descend a slight bit. It's going to seem a little bit tight here, though there is a valley and a road that cuts right through here. So we're going to need to drop down to just below 3,500 feet, maybe 2,800, somewhere around there. And we're going to actually fly just in between two of these larger mountains. That'll be on both our left and our right. And that'll become more clear as we actually fly this route. As we cut through here, what we're going to look for on the other side to make sure that we are flying through the right valley is we're going to be able to see a lake on the other side. That's going to be the Otay Lake. It's very easy to see. We'll be able to spot it, and we're going to more or less fly directly to it. We're going to want to keep the lake on the left of us because we do want to make sure that we avoid some of this parachute jumping area. We'll be talking to flight following, so we can either ask them or contact the radio frequency associated with these parachute jumping areas that we can see here to be able to get some kind of information on if they're actively jumping or not. As we traverse over the lake, we're then going to head directly towards the Otay Mesa prison. This area is pretty easy to spot. From the elevation we'll be flying at, you can actually see the fences, so it's fairly evident that it is a prison, so it makes for a very good visual landmark. As we start to see the prison, we'll go ahead and contact the Brownsfield Tower and get clearance to land. When we obtain clearance, we'll go ahead and set up for entering their airspace and land on whichever runway they give us, though more than likely they'll give us 28 right, which is their very long runway, and we'll land there. A quick look at the airport diagrams. We need to obtain some information that we'll need for this flight. First, let's go ahead and note the runway links. This is important for every flight. The runways that we'll be using for the departure is 4,500 feet in length, so we know we'll have plenty of runway for departure. Some of the frequencies we'll need to make a note of is we'll definitely need the ATIS, 126.9. We'll need Montgomery Tower. That's going to be on 125.7 in this case, unless told otherwise. And then we'll also need the ground and the clearance. So we'll use the clearance to obtain flight following before we taxi. So that'll be on 123.725. And then we can also have the ground frequency ready that we'll need to talk to for taxiing on 118.225. We're going to start here at Kilo, and after we do our engine start checklist, we're going to taxi down Kilo, hold short at Golf. We'll then obtain our taxi instructions, and we'll of course go wherever they direct us, though we can more than likely assume they're going to route us down Golf Hotel Alpha for departure. We'll do a run up over here at the base of the runway on Alpha. For the airport that we are landing at, Brownsfield, Minnesota Airport, of course there's also 2 runways at this airport, 26 left and 26 right. We're going to focus on the 26 right, which is their very long runway. This runway is 7,900. This runway is very large because I believe Brownsfield was initially a military air base that was then given to the city. So they have a very long runway for all sorts of different military jets that can take off, which is another reason it makes it a very cool airport to land at. We can go ahead and look at their frequencies. Their ATIS will be 132.35 and their tower will be 128.25. We'll need to talk to ground for taxi instructions following landing. That'll be on 124.4. When we land, we'll look to exit the runway at Charlie. We'll then obtain clearance to cross runway 28 left, and then we will taxi more than likely down Golf, where we can then park at the base of the FBO. Here is the nav log for the flight that we'll be flying today. We're going to be departing Montgomery Gibbs. We're going to be starting at an elevation of 427 feet. As we depart, we're going to then climb. We're going to pass Lake Murray, probably at around 2,500, while ultimately achieving our top of climb at 3,500. We'll hold that for a while as we continue on our heading of 9.3 as we fly near Mount Helix, which is going to be on our right. And then we're going to see at the same time Gillespie, that's going to be on our left. They're more or less parallel with each other. We're going to stay in the same course of 9.3. We're going to be looking for the Cottonwood Golf Course at 3,500. From there, we're going to start a little bit of a descent. So the 3,500 is going to be a top of descent. We're going to descend down to around 3,200 feet, and then we're going to go from there down to 2,000 feet as we fly past Mount San Miguel. We're going to fly directly over the Otay Lake, so we should be around 2,000 feet there. And then we can go ahead and contact Brownsfield and get clearance to land. We have the tower frequency here if we need to grab it. And as we get the clearance to land, we can go ahead and start descending to their traffic pattern. Brownsfield is at 526 feet, so their traffic pattern is going to be 1,526 feet. So we're going to more or less be at traffic pattern at altitude when we're over the Otay prison. So we'll just make sure that we keep that in mind. Carb heat is off. Fuel selector valve is on both. Fuel valve is in. Throttle is going 1/8. Master switch is coming on. Circuit breakers all look good. Beacon light is coming on. Mixture is going full rich. Let's yell outside. Hey, clear prop on the brakes. Magneto switch. We'll go to both. Give it some throttle. Back to both. Throttle back to 800 RPM. Right about there. Oil pressure is in the green, looking good. Flaps we have up. Visually they look like they are up. Amps are positive, ammeter is in the green. We also have vacuum suction. Looks good. Now let's lean this for taxi. Oil temperature and pressure is good. Engine gauge is checked. Avionics switch coming on. Transponder, we're switching to alt. Make sure we're squawking 1200. Nav lights coming on. That controls the ADS-B as well. Taxi lights coming on. The Garmin's are ready. Enter, enter. Enter, enter. We can go ahead and get the ATIS for Montgomery on the lower comms, 126.9. We have the ATIS on the lower comm. We're going to switch that to the active. And we're going to listen for the ATIS.
Montgomery Tower information, Delta 2153 Zulu, wind 230 at 9er, visibility 10, clear, temperature 16, dew point 7, altimeter 3005, ILS runway 28 right approaching use, also landing and departing, runway 28 left, tower frequency for runway 28 right is 125.7, SOTMs, use caution for cranes and 5G interference in the vicinity of Montgomery Field, reduced services are in effect at Montgomery Field, SoCal advises no practice approaches, runway 28 right, runway alignment, indicator lights unserviceable, VOT unserviceable, hazardous weather information available on flight service frequencies.
Alright, we have the ATIS.
On initial contact, you have Delta.
We're setting our altimeter. Brake check works. Alright, let's go ahead and taxi. Alright, we can see the tower. Montgomery clearance delivery, Cessna 733 Yankee Victor.
733 Yankee Victor. Go ahead.
Flight following from Montgomery Gibbs to Browns Field with departure to the east, 3 Yankee Victor.
November 733 Yankee Victor, departure frequency 119.6, squawk 4160.
Departure frequency 119.6, squawk 4160, 3 Yankee Victor.
733 Yankee Victor, be back, correct.
Alright, so we're going to put in 4160. Alright, so we have 119.6 on standby. For later, we have ground ready, and we're squawking 4160. Montgomery ground, Cessna 733 Yankee Victor, at Kilo, holding short at Golf, ready for taxi. With information Zulu.
November 733 Yankee Victor, runway 28 right, taxi via Golf, Hotel, Alpha.
Taxi via Golf, Hotel, Alpha, for runway 28 right, 3 Yankee Victor. Let's get lined up. And now we're ready for the run-up checklist. Alright, first things first, fuel selector is on both, check. Flight instruments, airspeed indicator is 0, wings are flat and level. Altimeter is set, wings are flat and level on the turn coordinator, heading coordinator is set. Vertical airspeed is 0 as it should be. Flight instruments check. Flight controls, ailerons up, down. Elevator up and down, rudders good. Flight controls are free and collect. Elevator trim is set for takeoff. Mixture's going full rich. Throttle to 1700. Heartbeat's on, good drop. We'll check the magnetos. Left, good drop, back to both. Right, back to both. Alright, magnetos are good, good drop. We still have vacuum, so check. Ammeter is positive, check.
Here we read ground.
Engine gauges are also in the green. Throttle back to 800.
Number 1 Kilo Echo, it's Las Vegas ground, squawk normal please.
Las Vegas ground, and we are
Alright, we go
normal,
lean for taxi.
I don't see. Verify your transponders on, please.
We got our radio set.
Okay, we'll recycle the transponder.
Doors and windows are latched. Taxi brief complete. And note the time. Alright, we're ready to contact tower and get our clearance for departure.
R3 Quebec, you can straight in.
Montgomery Tower, Cessna 733 Yankee Victor, holding short of runway 28 right, ready for departure. 3 Yankee Victor.
November 733 Yankee Victor, Montgomery Tower, proceed on course, runway 28 right, clear for takeoff.
Runway 28 right, clear for takeoff. 3 Yankee Victor.
November 114 Hotel Kilo, Burbank clearance, maintain VFR at or below 2,500, departure frequency 134.2, squawk 7156. Maintain at or below 2,500, departure frequency 134.2, squawk 7156, 114 Hotel Kilo.
Runway is clear.
114 Hotel Kilo, read back correct.
We're clear on final. Alright. Double check. Mixture's full rich. Landing lights on. Strobe lights are on. Runway item checklist complete. Let's get lined up. We're going full throttle. Engine gauges, vacuum are in the green. Alright, airspeed is alive. Rotate at 55.
Tower, November 1 Kilo Echo.
Climb at 70.
Bravo, Link Park.
1 Kilo Echo, Las Vegas Tower, runway 26 right, clear for takeoff.
Go takeoff 26 right, November 1 Kilo Echo.
Alright, climb checklist. Landing lights are off. Mixture as required. And we'll continue to climb at 85.
Ready to go. Ready to taxi. Number 723 Yankee Victor, contact departure.
Over to departure, 3 Yankee Victor. SoCal departure, Cessna 733 Yankee Victor. 1,100, climbing to 3,500.
Shot 33 Yankee Victor. SoCal departure, ready to contact. 7233 Yankee, similar call sign, another. Contact Ontario Tower 120.6.
Sorry, was that for 733 Yankee Victor?
733 Yankee Victor, negative. 733 Yankee Victor, I have a similar call sign, another frequency of 7233 Yankee.
Copy that.
Seven two three three Yankee, point to approach Oxnard, altimeter 3003. Helix, let's look at approach, ready to contact.
First visual landmark to mention, Lake Murray. climb VFR, we're going to climb up over these clouds. To stay below 4800 because of the Bravo. There's Gillespie Airfield. Just to beam our wing over there, you can see Mount Helix. So
Airbus 1 Kilo Echo, contact Los Angeles Center 134.65, see ya. Hotel Kilo Center departure, cancel off the restriction.
now what we're going to do is we're going to fly right between those mountains. See, there's the lake, Otay Lake, that we're going to fly directly over. There's the Otay prison. SoCal approach, Cessna 733 Yankee Victor, requesting frequency change. 3 Yankee Victor.
3 Yankee Victor, ready service terminated, squawk VFR, quick change crew.
Squawk VFR, 3 Yankee Victor, thank you. Alright, Squawk VFR, 1200. Brownsfield, Cessna 733 Yankee Victor, northeast 2300, requesting full stop with information Zulu, 3 Yankee Victor.
November 733 Yankee Victor, Brown Tower, runway 26 right, clear to land.
26 right, clear to land, 3 Yankee Victor. We're going to go ahead and configure to land, so we're going extra full rich, throttle back to 1700, we're there, we're going to have landing lights on, taxi lights on, all the lights on.
Fullerton Tower, Skyhawk, November 114 Hotel Kilo 10 North with Papa, request full stop. November 114 Hotel Kilo, Fullerton Tower, enter right base runway 24, runway 24, cleared to land. Right base runway 24, 24 clear to land, 114 Hotel Kilo. Number 733 Yankee Victor, cross runway 26 left at Bravo, taxi to parking via Golf.
Cross 26 left at Bravo, taxi to Golf, 3 Yankee Victor. Alright, well this concludes our trip to Browns Field from Montgomery Gibbs. I hope you found this video enjoyable and informative. I wish you luck on your aviation journeys.